everyone's attendance this evening. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board members have received the January meeting minutes. I ask for a motion for approval. Motion approved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
We've got two personnel items on the agenda this evening. First being Michael Shinrod, or Mike Shinrod, as our varsity baseball coach.
I'll make a motion to approve Mike Shinrod.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved.
And then the next one would be an assistant for him, varsity baseball assistant, Colton Lindback.
Motion approved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Moving on to claim docket. Motion approved. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So approved. Next time is the balance sheet.
She starts at 21. That is not through. So next one after that. I don't know why the numbers didn't pick up all the way through at the bottom. Some of them.
Any questions by the board on the balance sheet? We'll continue moving on. Are there any public comments this evening on the agenda? Yeah.
When you get to the 5-year strategic plan, the update, could you please also give us some insight, I mean, not just what your intentions are to do with the building in La Crosse, but once you no longer want to use it, are you going to allow the community to have any input as to how or what could go there?
Well, yes,
Thank you.
however, probably not tonight. We're gonna get a visit from the Heartland Church. It was supposed to happen Monday, we had it scheduled for Monday. Since we had to move this meeting to tonight, this month, we're gonna see if we can't connect for another meeting, because they have an idea, and we want to hear what that idea might be. So right now, that would be the only next discussion about the old building.
I just didn't know if you had a time frame of how long you intend to use the gymnasium. Because the use of the gymnasium precludes being able to use the property for something else.
Use of the gymnasium indefinitely.
Okay.
That's our home for athletics indefinitely. Yep, okay.
We definitely intend on continuing to use that
Okay.
and invest in it.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any additional questions?
Where's the Heartland Christian Church? Is that in Valpo or?
We have several satellite offices.
Yeah, so main
Morgan Township.
campus is the one on 49,
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
near
one,
Morgan
there's one
Township.
in Wanatah,
We have
where,
one in North Judson too? Is that?
That's correct.
Okay,
by the twin churches, where it used to be a Methodist.
okay, yeah, all right.
And then here in Wanatah, the campus is out at 900.
Twin churches, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Any additional questions? Okay, we'll continue moving on.
So yeah, item 7 that's listed on there, the Heartland Church, I've got some dates that we'll talk through when we get our calendars out and see if we can connect this month to reschedule that. So we'll go on to number 8, which is the second reading of next year's calendar. There have been quite a few changes on that since you first looked at it. And that is because we've continued growing the idea of a partnership with Westville to share some students and some programming. So Brian and I ultimately decided it only makes sense to have that match as much as possible. So that's the version you're looking at there. So if you'll, let's take a minute and see if there's any questions on that, because that's something we would like to get out soon. Yep.
Hey, I thought all our schools in LaPorte County were in the same calendar.
Haven't been has always been talked about being the goal, but it's
Okay.
really never,
Okay,
if anything, it's trended farther away from that, I would say.
that makes it really hard.
Because this is different than South Central spring break, correct?
Michigan City.
Yes,
Is this LaPorte?
I'd say, how close is this to LaPorte with our kids that go there?
so
Spring break,
I think we're on with LaPorte.
Fort, Westville, and us all will have the same spring break. New Prairie, South Central, and Michigan City will all have the same.
Yes. Yeah.
But all will be the same as Fort.
So the teachers were okay with the spring break change, and so that, what kind of impact do you think within the community that we would be feedback with people who plan sometimes a year out on the spring break timing? I
I know this is Porter County spring break.
Well, but
ones.
we've not officially released spring break.
They
You know,
don't
the calendar
have
is,
visibility to it.
Right.
yeah,
Correct,
exactly.
Correct.
That's correct.
But I guess that was just thought about when we do, because it was a big deal when we moved it. It used to be this week, and then we moved it, I think, 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe even more, to the current
Yeah.
week, and there was a lot of communication at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard much. I would say athletically it fits a little bit better,
Okay,
because we try to have games over spring break and a lot of people take vacation, so it's tough to have games over spring break, and that last week of March usually isn't a good time to have baseball and softball games anyways. You might get a couple days there, but, so I know athletically it fits a little bit better.
So what we certainly, as an option, since we're already sitting close to March's regular meeting on the 23rd, because we moved that up because of some travel. Plus, there's a strong possibility of having a meeting with the Heartland Church even sooner. If you would prefer that we wait and get it out to the public and see if we get any feedback, that's an option.
For this?
For the calendar, to see if there's
I don't know that makes much
I don't
sense
think it-
anyways, because
yeah.
we're gonna partner with Westville, and, yeah, I mean, it makes sense to just get with Westville's schedule, since we're gonna partner with them for the new programming.
I agree.
Okay.
and hearing your reason makes sense, I just wouldn't understand, so if presented with questions that, what background went into this?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve this calendar.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So,
So I'll kind of discuss items 9, 10, 11, somewhat sort of bleed together, so, as you know, we've kind of been working through that, our 5-year strategic plan from kind of a physical standpoint. What else do the buildings need? Obviously, we've known for some time roof work here was due, and we've initiated some of that, which will actually start here in the coming weeks. 3 of the sections of this roof will be getting remedied real quick, and that's not a moment too soon. We got spots in the hallway here, we're catching quite a bit of water. So we've been taking our time and working on that list. In your packet, if you look at pages 31 through 36, and since that didn't transfer for some of you, that's the spreadsheet where we kind of initially started out as a wants, needs type of exercise, starting with 31. So what I've done for you is gone through, and since we started that, I updated everything that we had on that list. What's been completed or partially completed, what remains to be done. And you'll find things sitting on there that maybe ultimately we're gonna choose to never do some of those things. But some examples, I'm not gonna read through all 5 or 6 pages of those. You can see where we're at. But as an example, the roof systems, like I said, once this weather breaks a little bit better, we'll get maybe 40, 50% of our roof system done in the coming months. That's still a priority for us, I believe, to want to get that whole thing, the rest of it taken care of when we can. Another example, page 32, the second page of that, like we had to put on the list, kind of a wish list for the Tiger Den of maybe we wanted to consider trying to add additional seating. That's one of those that might sit there and it might remain sitting there for a time if we choose that other things rank higher on a list of importance. But as you've had this now, looking through that and being able to read the updates, were there any questions or thoughts currently on that?
I need to add something here.
There could be more ideas to add to it.
We need parking, because I park in the grass.
I think parking is on
It's
there.
on there.
Yep. Yeah. Fiona also self-reported that she's in a tow-away zone, so, yeah, parking.
You get a pass.
Yeah. I didn't think there was such a thing at either of our locations, that there is a tow-away.
But it's yellow curb.
So anyways, from that list then, we, as you know, we have a debt that's getting paid off this summer. And that was the entryway and the office remodel from 2014. So we now have two additional pieces of information that can help us get to some decisions coming soon. So if you look at document number 29, the email from PSI, you're able to see that with that debt line, with no additional tax increase, we would have somewhere between 2.7 and 2.75 million dollars available to us to now go to our needs list and start to match up what's a high priority, medium level, lower priority type things. And then we've gotten from, on that same document, you will see some of the items that we've already said are probably high priority items, and they've matched up some pricing for us that's current as of right now. So we're getting armed with that information. And what my intentions are is the next time we get together this month, Brian and I will be able to come to you with a bit of a presentation on where programming and our future vision then can help you take the number, the dollars and the pricing, and we add what we see where we're going, what our high priority new programming, existing programming that we want to grow, those types of things, looking through a lens of what decisions do we make that secure a future vision, secure our future physically, like making sure a brand new roof on this place buys many years of comfortable knowledge that, you know, we're in good shape. What the other lens to look through, what can we do that has an impact on enrollment? What leads to us growing? So what has a marketing type piece to it? What attracts people? So that's where the programming type stuff comes in. So how you look at this list and the decisions you make based on the dollars that we have available to us we're getting down now to where it's gonna be decision-making time, in the coming 1 to 2 months, okay? So questions, thoughts on that? The last piece that I did update, a new item, like you mentioned, Melanie, on that last page, numbered 36 of the spreadsheet. We did add, basketball hoop upgrades and the curtain here for Wanatah.
I read that, right,
Yeah.
in your email.
And that, what I failed to send you, one of the most important pieces, was the pricing, because I missed an attachment. So I printed an additional sheet that shows you, that's a new item, that shows you, we could get our side baskets here in the Wanatah gym and a divider curtain down the middle. And Brian, remind me, does that price, the price is just a shade under 60,000. Did that include the additional side baskets at the Tiger Den?
No, just all 6 baskets here.
Here,
Cause the 2 main ones are stable right now.
That's
You can't move those up and down here.
so what that would get us here is the main court baskets would be movable out of the way. And as you know, volleyball, those come into play more than they do at other places. But also very important, our side baskets are of low quality. The new, if we chose to get new baskets, the great piece there is they would be adjustable. They would be manually adjustable and can come down to all this, the feeder system level that we're trying to work with our kids, so that they're better prepared for high school level competition. That would be so that's one of those things, that got added, so I wanted to include that. And then see what kind of questions you have about where we're at in
So
that process.
something like this, do we need to wait on this, or is it something we can just move on since we got it? We already know that there's a pretty strong need to replace all the baskets at Wanatah. And there's talk of adding 2 at lacrosse on the sides, on the other side, so that you can split JV varsity time there and practice
That's correct.
side to side.
That's,
I'm assuming we would want to be the same, like the side folding or the forward or rear folding like the ones.
did he get us pricing on the,
The 2 right on there, no, he did it.
oh, we didn't get that yet? Okay,
Do we have any other competitive quotes on this?
we don't. This is the only one we have at the moment.
I'm not ready, I'd like to talk about it a little bit more,
Okay,
see if we can get another price somewhere. I know there's probably not a lot of places,
right.
but
This gives us a rough idea where
where we're
Yeah,
at,
yeah. I can just tell, the only thing I can tell you on this vendor is he's done some similar type stuff. Many schools here in the area, so we'll find some other, I can get other quotes. I'll find them, but
well, just to make sure that, you
yes.
know,
And then I think I would assume he'll be able to beat them. And then he's the guy that
Yeah.
we probably want to come back to.
do you know how many schools he's done, or where, Kelly?
Michigan City, they redid all the
Michigan City
they
was-
redid all the bleachers, everything up there in the last 2 years, I think.
Okay,
He did the baskets in North Judson's new elementary gym.
Yeah.
okay.
He mentioned Knox.
Did he do our bleachers this is years ago, did he mention that he was familiar with that?
I'm not for sure.
Because I know we replaced them
Yeah,
like 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
2016, wasn't
the bleachers,
it? Yeah.
I think it was like 2008.
Yeah, then
Yeah. You're talking the ones at lacrosse.
I'm
that
talking
we
about
covered over.
lacrosse,
The ones we covered over lacrosse, yeah, that was roughly
like
15,
2016,
16.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not for sure, Kim.
To answer your question, Aaron, that's up to you guys. That can go either way.
No, we're gonna hold off.
I mean, but to answer your question, that's something that could, and we can purchase that with the money we have now, or that could be, if that's something we want to put into the project, it can be.
well, I think there's a definite need for that,
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah,
I also agree, I think we should do it, I just think to be fiscally responsible, we probably should
Yeah.
at least get one other quote.
That's all I want, I think it needs to be done as well, I just, think we should get another quote to
We can
see,
do that.
you know.
Yeah, this quote just came through, like, what, this week? Last maybe?
Last week.
I mean, the email's in there, so you can see. So I'll come back to you this month if we can get another quote of that amount.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, aside from that, from our list, from anything right now on the bit of information we've gotten from what the non-controlled number is to, PSI's pricing, or does anybody have anything else they'd like to see added to our document for exploration at the moment?
I think the document's pretty complete.
Okay.
I'm-
Okay.
And for me, I know, so, Mr. Shepherd and I spent some minutes on the phone with Jim Elizondo, just trying to understand like what this would be, because I think we do have a financial responsibility, of course, for our corporation. And one thing we did do previously is, because we were very conservative, is we wanted to make sure, which we still should be, watch out for taxpayer dollars and make sure we're being fiscally responsible to the point on getting another quote. But one thing is, I think we don't want to fall into is that we're not continually, we don't want to continue taxing people. But once you take, but if you don't keep that tax rate consistent, then it's really, really hard to go back and say, now we're gonna charge you more tax dollars. But if we can maintain that same tax rate without increasing and still make investments in our corporation for the kids, for me, as long as we have a strong plan, it makes it makes total sense for doing that.
And that's why I want another, estimate, because
Sure.
in your home, you just don't go with one, and
Yeah,
here,
Yeah, the competition is good.
yeah.
Okay, we will, I'm gonna check off 9, 10, 11. No, number 43 is the current policy on animals on school grounds, and this is the first reading for, that's what exists. We have a need to update that because it's dated. And that starts on page 45, is the much newer Neola policy that addresses any kind of animals on school grounds. And part of that is because the prevalence and the growing need of both service dogs and therapy dogs. And those aren't always exactly the same thing. So Katie Wright came to Brian and I, and she is in the process of getting a dog trained to be her service dog. And we are kind of kicking around the idea of, can it also double as our school therapy dog, accessible to kids? So this newer Neola policy, you can see in there, will address both of those differences. So this is the first reading for that. We'll take time to look through that, because that one's quite a bit longer than what we have existing in our policy at the moment. Okay. Questions on that? Okay. The 13, I just wanted to let you, I recently had the state police assess just the paperwork from the CDL side. Anybody with a CDL, they come in and inspect that paperwork. And I had failed to get a certain piece completed. And so they're gonna have to come back and see my paperwork again once the BMV gets me an account set up to check each driver's MVR. So I wanted to make you aware of that. Other than that, all of the much more important stuff, all of our drug testing information from Figment, all the randoms for whether it's alcohol or drugs, all of that paperwork was in there, and they were very happy with that. And then I, quite frankly, just with the busyness of what's going on, the request for maintenance work vehicle, I told you all the way back in December, I'm trying to get a whole lot more options available for you guys to look at, and I'm just not there yet. My goal is when we get back together this month to have that. Questions, comments, thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. Where's the one quote that we got?
Who was that from? Was that Deere?
We had two. We had a John Deere quote, and we had a quote from Kirstein's out. Yeah, from Kirstein's for a Landmaster, I believe was the brand for that. So we've got those two quotes, but there's so many different, any place like rural King, they got something sitting out there. There's major differences between what their capabilities are. So I'll try to get a comprehensive list together to bring to you. If nothing, I will ask Brian for a principal report.
February was a short month but a busy month, very busy month. So we had homecoming on February 10th. We played West Central that night. We got a win that night. We got 2 wins that night, so that was nice. And then the following day we had Sweetheart Dance for K through 5, a middle school dance here, and a high school dance at La Crosse. So I was able to run through all 3 of them, make sure I was at all 3. So kids had a lot of fun at all 3 of them. A lot of dancing going on. Got to see some parents dancing. Our DJ at the elementary, I think, had everyone going the whole entire time. So it's good to have Dara there too, to get people out there and make them dance, some of the parents. So let's see. Girls and boys basketball is now done. Girls basketball did tie the school record for most wins in a season with 17. So that was good.
Was that when you were coaching?
Huh? Nope, never got that far. So
Just wondering.
Circle the State music program that was last Saturday. Mrs. Lance took 3 kids over there. Peyton Clark, Caden Maroney, and Elise Frank. They get there at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they practice songs, and they have a concert at 3 o'clock. So it's elementary and middle school students. It was at Hebron High School, and one whole side of the bottom level was completely full of kids that were singing, and the rest of it was all parents there. When Tori told me it starts at 2:45, when I walked up, I was in line of like 75 people waiting to get in. So it was a very cool thing. I enjoyed it. I didn't get to see the kids because it's very structured of what they have to do afterwards. But it was nice to see our kids. How many kids were there total?
500.
500
Wow.
kids. And so
And it's just from the 3 counties around us. Yeah.
So we were well represented by our 3 kids, our
That's
3
great.
elementary kids. Our robotics team, in December we started robotics. They really weren't gonna compete this year. After the first couple of weeks, they said, no, we wanna compete. We wanna compete now. So the last 2 weeks, they went to Caston High School and to Triton Central, which is 45 minutes south of Indy.
I love the pictures though.
So they had to be there at 7:30 in the morning, last Saturday.
It was rough.
The first competition, they placed 7th. And then the competition last week, when they got there, they do an inspection of their robot. Our robot was 1/8 of an inch too big, so the kids had to rebuild it right there,
Wow.
and ended up placing 3rd.
Wow,
so-
that's great.
And we've had some kids where I think it started out 1 day a week they were having robotics, then it went to 2 days a week. I would say in the last 2 weeks, it's been every day for an hour and a half, 2 hours, we have kids in there
After school.
working on after school.
That's awesome.
There's a part where you have to program the robot, and then you just have to hit go and let it go on its own. And the girl that was doing that, she didn't start robotics till about 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And she's never gonna be happy with her score until it's perfect. So
Yeah.
putting in a lot of time on it, and even the boys that are running the remote, they're really into it. So, Mr. Clifford has already sent me some different things that we can do for next year. There's a drone flying contest that he's looking at. I think every day he's always bringing something to me new, and that the kids are really interested in. So right now he's going through classes so that he can teach all 3 of the engineering classes at the high school level next year, and he's going through flight and space curriculum for the junior high. So about 4 nights a week, he's at school right now, so just getting all that in so that we have everything we need for our curriculum, STEM curriculum, and partnering.
Hey, we appreciate it.
Yeah. You probably don't.
Mr. Clifford, I do have a question. The thing I seen on Facebook or our webpage where one of the kids, I won't say his name, is going in the gym floor. Is that our Aladdin carpet?
Going to the gym floor.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It was a high schooler.
No, that was, those were hoverboards we built before
Okay,
Christmas break.
okay. That was really cool.
Yeah, they were leaf blower powered. They had to build a hoverboard that would lift them
Okay.
off the ground and hover.
Yeah, that was neat.
So,
Back to the future.
so depending on weather, we do have our STEAM night tomorrow night, so it's STEM oriented, it's art, music, so anyone can come. It starts at 5 o'clock. Friday or Saturday night, we have bingo night, PTO bingo night. Quite a people enjoyed that in November, so we're bringing that, and that's open to the public, anyone that wants to come. We had kindergarten roundup last night,
How'd that go?
and it went pretty well.
Good.
PTO helped sponsor it. We had HealthLink here, and they sponsored some things, so it went really well.
Good.
And so we will have more numbers at the end of the month and see how many kids we have. I think I told you guys last month, I have an intern for this semester, Barb Deerdorf, that's working. She's going to go back to get her administration license, so she's working with me this semester. Not in the building, but she's doing projects right now for us. And so one of the projects she did was a attendance analysis for elementary. And so I'll be getting that report back next week to help us kind of look at our handbook and look at our attendance policy and see what we want to do with that. And then President's Day, we had teacher training on our website. So our website, we can have teacher pages on there as well if you click on their name. That's something that, we started last summer, getting the website updated. We haven't been able to get to the teacher training yet. We had 4 teachers come in on their off day, since we had President's Day off, came in, got trained, and now they're gonna train the rest of the teachers. So you'll start to see some teachers populate their pages, and we're gonna start using those for even more communication with parents. And I know the elementary teachers have kind of got started on it a little bit sooner, but they're ready to go on it. And then our SRO, so Captain Allen came to me and said that we needed to find an office for our SRO. So at the end of January, we made a plan to get him moved into his own office. So we had to move some people around, but he does have his own office now. Or anytime a part-time SRO is here, they're in that office now.
Where is that?
It's the first office in the
Yeah,
main office, so it used to be Amy's office,
Right.
so they're right there.
okay.
So now we're just working on getting everything that he needs in there, the cameras in there, so
That's a
that
good spot.
he has access to everything, so. That is it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Yep.
you.
I
Thank
don't
you,
have
Brian.
anything expert to add tonight, so.
Do you need,
Motion to adjourn.
do we have a motion? Sure. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.